From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
County leaders calling on Montana lawmakers to override a governor's veto.
Pay attention to how your legislator votes.
Local infrastructure improvements could be on the way.
You see some of those roads, and they are absolutely torn up.
But not every commissioner in Yellowstone County is on board. Yes, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Montana This Morning on this Wednesday, April 3rd. I'm Casey Conlon in for Augusta McDonald. An infusion of marijuana tax dollars could be heading to every county in Montana, but only if state lawmakers override a Governor Greg Gianforte veto. The legislature passed Senate Bill 442 almost unanimously, but on the last day of the session, the governor shot it down. His veto led to a court challenge, and the Secretary of State was forced to give lawmakers a chance to pass the law. Q2's David J. tells us why county commissions hope they do just that.
County commissioners wait for legislators to vote on an override of a bill that would have given marijuana tax revenue to the counties. The Montana Association of Counties would like to see that as law because it would help bring money to fix and maintain county roads. Recreation and access to public land can lead to heavy use on county roads.
You see some of those roads, and they are absolutely torn up. The folks that actually live out there and work out there struggle to get by.
Ross Butcher is the president of the Montana Association of Counties and a Fergus County commissioner. He says Senate Bill 442 would have allocated about 25% of the marijuana tax revenues to counties to help maintain these roads, or it would have until the bill was vetoed by Governor Gianforte. Because of the timing, the legislature did not have a chance to vote on the veto override until a state Supreme Court ordered the Secretary of State to put the veto out for a vote.
The counties, on behalf of the legislature, stood up and said, whoa, the administration has to allow the legislators to legislate. That's what this is about.
In response to a request for comment from Governor Gianforte, his office sent a copy of the letter he sent to the Secretary of State with his veto letter. He states, the bill glaringly omits an appropriation failing to fund itself. He goes on to write, the bill is unprecedented in that it authorizes ongoing state resources from the general fund to maintain county roads. Yellowstone County Commissioner John Osland signed the Montana Association of Counties letter, which supports an override of the veto, but another Yellowstone County commissioner would rather not see the bill become law.
Yellowstone County, it's about $8.6 million that is being raised on taxes. We get a portion of that back as a regular tax, but then they're starting to allocate a lot of this out to smaller counties.
Yellowstone County Commissioner Don Jones also says some counties do not collect marijuana tax revenue, but still would receive some of that through the bill.
The sales have actually, in my opinion, have created some more issues that we need to resolve and take care of.
And there is not a consensus if the legislature should be able to vote on an override.
Pay attention to how your legislator votes. And if you know them, get a hold of them.
I'll let the courts decide whether that should happen.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
10 Montana National Guard troops are heading to the southern border. Governor Gianforte joins several other Republican governors in sending state resources to Texas to help detect and stop illegal crossings. The move is viewed by some as a political one, as GOP leaders, including Gianforte, continue to criticize the Biden administration's immigration policy. The 10 troops will arrive in Texas next Monday, April 8th, and they're scheduled to return on May 12th. The governor is also lashing out at Montana Democrats after they held a press conference yesterday criticizing the state's Medicaid redetermination process. 130,000 Montanans lost Medicaid coverage in the last 10 months as the state reviews eligibility. The state says a majority of those individuals simply failed to fill out the correct paperwork. Democrats are concerned about reports of long wait times for people trying to reapply. Data from last month shows more than 40,000 individuals' redeterminations are still being processed.
I think it's incredibly important to put names and faces with this reality. These aren't just numbers. These are real people. These are our friends, neighbors, family members that are out there suffering as a result of this mismanagement.
I've had a number of kids who their parents have shown up to the pharmacy to pick up their medications only to be told that their coverage has been terminated without them knowing.
Gianforte said the press conference was repeating tired talking points, adding, quote, redetermination is working as intended. People who are ineligible for Medicaid are no longer on it. All right, it's time for a quick check of our weather with Miller Robson. And again, you've got great news for us right now.
It's really nice out there, very mild. We've already hit 50 earlier this morning here in Billings. If we were just to stop right now, we'd be 4 degrees shy of where our high should be today. But we're looking at the possibility of maybe some records for the next couple of days, especially as we get into tomorrow. Some areas could even flirt with 80-degree temperatures. Here in Billings, we're going to go with a high tomorrow of 77. That would actually tie a record. Yesterday turned out to be a beautiful day, high near 70, well above average where we should be for this time of the season, even milder than normal during the morning hours as well. Was quite breezy, windy at times yesterday. We did have top gusts yesterday at 34 at the airport. Still going to be breezy here in Billings for the next couple of days. We do have a system coming through today, and then with that system for the weekend could kick up some winds. Livingston area still quite windy today. We've had gusts over 40 miles an hour this morning. That should kind of ease up hopefully as we go along today. We'll migrate to our east for the next couple of days. So Miles City, Baker, Sidney, Ekalaka, Webo, you guys tomorrow all the way through maybe Saturday morning could have gusts over 40 miles an hour. Friday, northern parts of Wyoming, Cody and Sheridan could have gusts up to 50 miles an hour. So we do have some windy conditions on the way. And we could really use the moisture. Look at that total for the month and for the year. Here's some good news. Confidence is growing that we have a wall of water heading our way this weekend, and we could actually get on the plus side for the month and for the year with that moisture coming through, and we'll talk about those projections coming up in just a bit. 50 right now, feels good. Winds out of the southwest at about 17 miles an hour. 30s, 40s, and 50s. A beautiful start this morning. Next couple of days, get out outdoors and enjoy it. If you got any plans, do it now because the weekend not looking too good. We'll take a look at that coming up for you.
Thank you, appreciate it. I know those ski enthusiasts always trying to get a couple of more weekends in April, so it looks like
we may have some good news for you this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. MSU Billings students are criticizing the university this morning for its handling of a tense situation yesterday. Everyone on campus was told to shelter in place with a voice over an intercom system claiming shots had been fired. There was also an email sent with the subject line "active shooter." However, there was never any gunman. Instead, an individual made an online threat against the campus, but police tracked that person down miles from MSUB. Officers say there was an error in the university's messaging system, and students tell us the miscommunication created unnecessary panic.
We're all scrambling to one area of the room. Some of the classmates are barricading the door, and you hear thumping and other sounds that sound like gunshots, so we were scared.
Officials were unwilling to speak with us on camera, but sent MTN a statement saying, quote, "The emergency notification system accomplished the intended goal of having students and employees take immediate action," unquote. They are now reviewing their messaging system to ensure future alerts are more accurate. If you're 45 or older watching this morning, consider making an appointment for a colorectal cancer screening. As Q2's Haley Monaco reports, it could save your life.
In 2021, the recommended age for getting your first colonoscopy dropped from 50 to 45 years old. While it's a topic many shy away from speaking about, one Billings woman is sharing her story about her battle with colorectal cancer in hopes of spreading more awareness on the importance of getting screened.
Nobody wants to talk about the symptoms of colon cancer. Nobody talks about having rectal bleeding or diarrhea.
Jennifer Eliason was one of those people until about 6 years ago. And with no family history and being an active person, she disregarded the symptoms she faced.
I had had some bleeding that I just dismissed as hemorrhoids, and honestly just ignored that for about a year.
She is a busy mother and a March of Dimes employee, which means it was easy to push the bleeding to the back of her mind. But in 2018, she couldn't ignore it anymore. She was diagnosed with colorectal cancer.
I was still stage 1, and so very treatable.
But others aren't as fortunate. According to the American Cancer Society, colon cancer is the #1 cause of death in men under 50 and #2 cause of death in women under 50. And it is affecting people at a younger age, although doctors don't know why.
I think it has a lot to do with diet and exercise.
Since 2020, there has been a 9% increase in colon cancer diagnosis for people under the age of 50.
It's estimated that 90% of those can be prevented with earlier screening.
Dr. William Phillips specializes in family medicine at St. Vincent Regional Hospital. He says getting screened is the most important first step. A few signs and symptoms to look out for include black stool, which indicates blood, a change in bowel habits, and unexpected weight loss.
So I'd say probably a third to half of the patients that I send in for colonoscopies come back with precancerous polyps.
There are multiple ways to get screened, whether it's using an at-home test or going in for a colonoscopy.
It's a simple test to do, and it can save your life.
Eliason is celebrating 5 years cancer-free, something she may not be able to say if it wasn't for her getting checked out.
If this even encourages one person to get their symptoms checked out and get diagnosed early, then it was worth it.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
More than 3 million Hyundai and Kia vehicles were recalled months ago after 56 cars caught fire due to a dangerous defect. But many owners are still left waiting on repairs. Brake fluid in these vehicles was leaking onto circuit boards, triggering electrical shorts. One Billings driver whose car is impacted tells us he hasn't even brought his car in to be fixed yet. He has another Hyundai at the dealership and says it's 35th on the waiting list. Both Hyundai and Kia have acknowledged there is little hope of repairing most affected vehicles until June or later.
The uncertainty is a bit stressful, just because you don't know what's going to happen. I've got 2 kids and a wife, and everyone needs to get around. It's really not the best situation.
We reached out to both the Hyundai and Kia dealerships in Billings asking about the recalls and wait times for repairs, but neither were willing to speak with us for this story. New this morning, Israel is coming under sharp criticism from its closest allies after 7 aid workers were killed by airstrikes in Gaza. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel deeply regrets the strikes. The IDF issued an apology too, saying a misidentification led to the attack on the aid convoy. President Biden said, quote, Israel has not done enough to protect aid workers trying to deliver desperately needed help to civilians.